course, right when I'm like, let's film, the lighting decides to just... There's lines. Why? Today we're talking about my least favorite books of 2018. I don't have this in any order except for the order that I read these books in, starting from beginning of the year to end of the year. First book is Ashes to Ashes by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. Lord. This is the third and final book in the Burn for Burn trilogy. The first two books I didn't love. They were just like, okay, solid 3 stars, good enough. But the last book, basically it completely undid everything that the first 2 books in the trilogy did. Not in the entirety of the book itself, but in like the last 2 pages. And everything this series made me want, it just took away. The whole story basically wraps up in just a couple of pages, and I'm just like... It was just a hot mess. I still gave it 2 stars because the book as a whole wasn't horrible. It was just the very end that took away a lot of its stars. Next is The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. Now, it had been a while since I read a Casey West book, especially one of her contemporaries, which I know that's mostly what she writes, but she also has those random 2 like not contemporary books. But the first contemporary book that I read by her was The Distance Between Us, and I loved it. I gave it like 5 stars. That was like 4 years ago. Would me today give it 5 stars? I don't know. But I'd gone in hoping to at least not hate it, and I wasn't a fan. Truthfully, I don't remember a whole lot about it because I read this in January. But in my Goodreads review, I say this was like Mean Girls, except without the fun satire-like feeling that makes Mean Girls so good. It was just ridiculous to the point of this doesn't happen kind of thing. I gave it 2 stars. Next is definitely a controversial opinion, but it's The Winner's Curse by Marie Ritaski. I know so many people love this book, but I gave it 2 stars. I just thought it was so boring. It was one of those books where we knew things before the characters did and we just had to watch them figure things out. It was fast-paced, but not in a way that it hooked me. It was just moving fast and I was not enjoying the ride. I didn't have any connection to the characters, and as you know, I'm a very character-based reader, and that was very meh. So I didn't give it a good rating and I didn't continue with the series. Next, Side Effects May Vary by Julie Murphy, which I gave 2.5 stars. Again, one of my problems with this is that the drama was just absolutely ridiculous. It really played on that stereotype of pitting girls against each other. The main character is also pretty unlikable, which is fine. I don't mind unlikable characters, but I don't think we really see her grow when the book acts as if she did. It was just very average YA contemporary, and I wasn't a fan. I realize I haven't been saying what any of these books are about. Yikes. Number 3, and it's probably another controversial one, is Winter by Marissa Meyer. Now, this is one where I actually gave the book 3 stars. However, I feel like it deserves to be on this list because I did have a lot of problems with it. It was just so damn long and so boring. I listened to it on audio and sometimes I wouldn't even be really paying attention because I didn't have to. There would be nothing interesting going on, nothing important to the plot, no moments that made me want to love the characters more. It was just ridiculously long and it did not need to be doing that. Winter, by the way, is the 4th and final book in the Luna Chronicles series, which is a series that takes fairy tale characters like Cinderella and brings them into this sci-fi world. So Cinderella became Cinder, who's a cyborg. That's the first book. If this is the first time you're hearing this information, hello, welcome. You've been in a coma for a while. It's 2018. Probably go back to the coma because everything sucks. Next, The Reckoning of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hodgkins. Talk about nothing happening. This is the 2nd book in the Shaw Confessions, which is like a spin-off to the Mara Dyer trilogy, which never should have happened. I don't know what Michelle Hodgkins was thinking, because clearly she had this much of an idea for like a continuation thing, and she said, you know, we can make that 3 books. Sure, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Literally nothing happened in this book. It was just Noah and his friend Goose, wish I was making that name up, going around London like, I why? The first book in the Shaw Confessions was already like confusing and stuff enough. And this one did not make some of those confusing things any less confusing. Didn't really play on anything from the first book. If anything, it made everything more confusing, and I just don't understand what Michelle was smoking when she sat down to write this one. I gave it 1 star. If you haven't started the Shaw Confessions, don't. Next. What They Don't Know by Nicole Maggie. This is a book that I saw in NetGalley and I was like, that looks interesting. In all seriousness, it was a very good message. Follows these 2 girls. One has like a super liberal mom and everything's great, and the other one has a super conservative family, super religious, super toxic. And she's basically always, you know, believed what her family believed until one day she finds the need to have an abortion, but her family, they ain't about that. Trigger warning in this for things like rape and abuse. So these 2 girls, they used to be friends, but then they grew apart. But the one like liberal girl starts to realize that her conservative ex-best friend seems to be going through something. She's like, she seems a little off, so she gets involved, and it goes from there. Like I said, very nice premise for a story. Love the message here, but it really felt like a Lifetime movie in a book, and I think it just could have been executed better. The drama was too much, especially at the end. And the whole thing is that this story is told through their little journal snippets that they're writing in this journal for class, and some of the things that they write in this journal, I'm just like, you would write this knowing your teacher's gonna read it? And second, it would be like, oh, I need to hurry up and write this because I'm in this situation. I'm like, if I was in that situation, I would not go, let me go write in my journal really quick before doing this. Maybe it changed a little from arc to finished copy, I hope so, but I gave that 2.5 stars. Next, another 2.5 star, another probably controversial opinion, but it's You by Caroline Kepnes. Premise of this stalker man, you know, stalking, and it's written in second perspective, so it's like, you do this. Yeah, it's creepy, it's intriguing, I'll bite. But that was the only good thing that it had about it. There was really nothing that was shocking in this book. Once you see how things are going, you can pretty much say, this is how they're gonna keep going. What I'm also a little concerned about is most people who give this a good review is like, oh, I was just so intrigued by Joe, the stalker. He kind of had me rooting for him. I liked him. I thought he was annoying, pretentious, and you know, a stalker. That isn't me dragging anyone that said that they like Joe. I just don't understand because I did not like him. I will say though, I just recently started watching Gossip Girl for the first time ever. Yes, I like trash TV sometimes. We're not gonna talk about it. And I was looking at the guy that plays Dan on that show and I'm like, he's hot. What's he doing? And the first credit I see is playing the Lifetime adaptation of You, playing Joe. So I guess maybe I will like Joe after all. Also, I feel like no one mentions this, so I'm gonna mention it. This book is hella vulgar. Don't listen to it on audiobook out loud for your family to hear because you're not gonna want them to hear it. We're getting down to the end here. Only a couple more books to talk about. Next, and this will probably also be a little controversial for some of you, but it's Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I feel like there's been a theme with a few of these books. Books that have nothing happening. Yeah, that was Kingdom of Ash. How are you gonna write a 1,000 page finale to a, what, 7-8 book series? How are you gonna do all that and have it be filled with nothing? I've seen people be like, oh, Kingdom of Ash destroyed me. Oh, I'm murdered by Kingdom of Ash. How? Nothing happened. I literally fell asleep during the last fight scene. I don't know, maybe it's really fulfilling if you're like a super fan of Throne of Glass, but as someone whose enjoyment of the series has been going down, this only brought it a lot further down. Still love Kel Westfall, he's my baby. Would die for him, thank you. But yeah, I would say that I can't really talk about this book because spoilers. But what is there to spoil? That nothing happens? There was like one scene that made me kind of tear up, but then she said something in the next paragraph that ruined it. There was one scene where I felt like pretty suspenseful for the characters. Other than that, nothing. It's just nothing. Okay, I gave it 2 stars. 2 more books. This is 4, but you get it. These last 2 books are books that I just read recently for that video I filmed about reading books that were popular during the week I was born. First, Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man by Tim Allen. Gave this 2 stars. Thought it might be funny because he's a comedian. First page, like the introduction, amazing, hysterical. Kept chuckling out loud. The rest of the book, It was basically a guide to men filled with the most stereotypical bullshit that we already know about the male species. And the last book, politically correct bedtime stories, also known as a bunch of garbage. Basically, this book tries to make bedtime stories like Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood politically correct, because, you know, it's so rough being in this world where we have to not be racist and sexist. I could see in some sense how this might be funny if it were written in a way that was funny, but this was just bogged down, boring, nonsensical at times. It just had a bad attitude in my opinion, and it wasn't funny. The only part that I laughed at was in the retelling of Little Red Riding Hood when she's bringing sweets to her grandma. It's not sweets, it's fruits and vegetables and mineral water. I was like, okay, that's funny, because, you know, gotta be healthy. But the rest of it, it's not something that people actually want, or if it is, it's something that's not funny. It's something that's like, yeah, this is how things should be. Gave it 1 star if I didn't say that already. People of 1994, I'm really disappointed that that's what you were reading. So those were all of my least favorite books of 2018. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what some of your least favorite books of the year were. I'll see you guys in my next video.